So today I'll be doing a video discussing the new time skip. Now, when it comes to Fairy Tail, we know that this series is notorious for having time skips. Yes, whether you like them or not, Fairy Tail, just like a lot of other shonens, they do utilize time skips well into the series. But today I'm going to be discussing why Fairy Tail will be having another time skip, and this time skip might be one of the greatest time skips in all of anime history. Now, when we look at the first time skip for Fairy Tail, we have to look at the 7-year time skip. Now, this is a very controversial topic when speaking about this, just because a lot of Fairy Tail fans did not like this. Yes, a lot of Fairy Tail fans did not like this, and there are numerous reasons why, but the main reason why was because none of the characters grew up. Now, that was kind of shocking to see. None of the characters did grow up throughout that 7-year time skip. None of the main characters, at least, because obviously we saw characters like Romeo, Jet and Joy, all those characters grow up. But if you're watching the series for Jet and Joy, are you really enjoying Fairy Tail? Like, let me ask you that question. If you have Jet and Joy as one of your favorites, are you really enjoying Fairy Tail? But no, in all seriousness, we know that none of the main characters basically ended up growing up, and that's what caused a lot of people to get angry. Now, obviously, we do know that it did come at the expense of the spell that they used, because once they did use the spell to save themselves from acnologia, we know that that was going to put a huge handicap on their age. Mavis herself told them that, so it does make sense on why none of them did grow up, but it was still kind of like a kicker because it's 7 years and everybody still came back looking the same. So I can understand that part when they say people never grew up. And one thing that the 7-year time skip did do great was they introduced new dragon slayers. Yes, they introduced new dragon slayers, because at that point we were waiting for pretty much something new to get revealed to us, because we remember Gagio, he was the first dragon slayer that got introduced to us, the new one, and then we got introduced to Wendy, and then for a while we didn't really get any new dragon slayers until Sting and Rogue came along. And let's be honest, Sting and Rogue, they've been pretty much, they've played their role. They've been good role players. I'm not going to say they're the best characters that Hiro Mashima ever written. No, because that's far from the truth. But Sting and Rogue, they've actually been pretty helpful in the series. Like, we've seen multiple times where they've come up clutch. Sometimes they haven't been as clutch, but it's the thought that counts. So I definitely do think that them introducing new dragon slayers such as Sting and Rogue, who are this important to the story, was definitely a good thing on Hiro Mashima's part. And last but not least, one of the main things that we got introduced to from the 7-year time skip was new guilds. Now, this was 100% a good move by Hiro Mashima, just because Fairy Tail, one of the main things that people didn't want to happen was it to become sort of like how Naruto did. Whereas Naruto Part 1, they only focused on the Leaf Village and they didn't really focus on anything else. But with Fairy Tail, we know that one of the main things that they did early on was establish neighboring guilds. Yes, we saw Blue Pegasus, we saw Lamaya Scale. Like, they were really going through with the concept of guilds. They were doing a good job at it, and with this time skip, they only beefed up the amount of guilds. Like, we saw Mermaid Heel get introduced, we saw Kagura's guild. Like, there was a lot of new guilds. Raven Tail, the one that was owned by Laxus's father, the evil Fairy Tail, pretty much. So there were a lot of new guilds that were introduced with the Grand Magic games, and some of them are still pretty important to this day. So I definitely do have to say that the 7-year time skip, while it might not have been what everybody was expecting it to be, it definitely was still a good time skip to me. Now, when we look at the 1-year time skip, this one was the most recent one that we had, and this one was probably the most hype time skip, just because we saw that this one was probably a strength time skip for majority of the characters. Yes, we've seen Natsu. When he came back, he had long hair, the fire, everything about Natsu was hype. I mean, Natsu's character was looking really dope when he came back from the time skip, but I mean, the one thing that everybody's upset about is that Natsu didn't keep his long hair, because because if Natsu would have kept his long hair, he would have been the best main character in all of shonen. But no, in all seriousness, we saw Natsu came back with what he was able to do. He was able to one-shot Blue Note, you know. Natsu definitely did come back pretty strong, and we even seen Lucy too. She came back with the star dresses. Yes, Lucy came back with the star dresses. She was super hype, and she also did come back with a whole lot of more strength. So Lucy's character did definitely get buffed up there. And one of the more shocking things that we've seen with the 1 year time skip was Gray and Juvia, because while this was a strength development time skip, this also did do good for pairings. Yes, we saw Gray and Juvia, they spent a lot of time together while they were actually with each other alone. So I definitely do have to say that that did help the relationship for Gray x Juvia. And then we even seen Gagio x Levi. Yes, we seen Gagio and Levi, they pretty much got super close too over this 1 year time skip. We seen they both joined the council and everything, and we also seen that Gagio and Levi, they might actually have a kid on the way with this 1 year time skip. So I definitely do have to say that this 1 year time skip, it was good for strengthening the characters like Natsu, Lucy, but it was also good for strengthening relationships like Gray and Juvia, Gagio and Levi. But this arc definitely did have a huge impact on the plot, simply because we saw that majority of the characters had left the guild. Yes, Fairy Tail was pretty much disbanded, and people did what they want. We saw Wendy, she pretty much joined her friend Shelly and joined her guild, and they were becoming the Sky Twin Sisters. We seen Laxus, even he joined Blue Pegasus. So like, there was a lot of different things going on. A lot of people had left, and I definitely do think it was only good for the progression of the story. And we obviously did see Gray becoming evil, and I'm using that with air quotes because we know that he wasn't fully evil. But the Avatar arc, we definitely did get to see that, and I definitely do gotta say that the 1 year time skip, the main thing that it did good for me personally was strengthen the strength of the characters, and it also did help the plot move along very smoothly. Now, the recent Fairy Tail time skip, which is the 100-year quest, we know that this quest in itself is going to be a time skip, because we saw when Guildarts first accepted the quest, he was gone from the guild from years. Yes, Guildarts missed out on the guild for years just from accepting the 100-year quest. So it's pretty much safe to assume that Natsu and the others are going to go through the same thing that Guildarts went through, which will mean that the 100-year quest itself is a time skip. Yes, I do believe that this series itself will be basically showing us what takes place during the time skip, because if you think about it, this is going to be like the biggest time skip in all of Fairy Tail, because it's testing their strength. Because not only do they have to defeat the holy pentadrakes, the 5 dragon gods, we already seen how strong Mercuphobia is, the water dragon god, he looks overpowered, and we've seen the fire dragon god Ignea, who has been revealed to be Natsu's brother, Igneal's son. We know that basically a part of the Fairy Tail 100-year quest is to defeat all 5 of them. So we know that these two, they're already pretty overpowered, and they only used half of their powers. So the rest of them are going to be pretty strong. But on top of that, they also have to defeat the 5th generation dragon slayers. Yes, they have to defeat the 5th generation dragon slayers, because these guys are savages, and we know that they're not going to go away without a fight. Like, they want to go around and kill every dragon until there's none left. So we know that Natsu and the others, they're going to re-encounter the 5th generation dragon slayers, which I can't wait to see. So I definitely do think that that's going to be hype. But then last but not least, we know at some point they will have to deal with Toka. Yes, they will have to deal with Toka back at the guild, because Toka, she's going crazy. Like, let's be honest, Toka, she is literally just going crazy at the guild. We've seen that she's recently defeated all of the remaining guild members who didn't go on the Fairy Tail 100-year quest. So that just goes to show you that she is hella strong. So this definitely will be a huge strength time skip for the characters, but I also do think that this will be a huge story time skip as well, because I believe that the next time skip will actually be the birth of the next generation. Yes, the birth of the next generation. Now, obviously, after Fairy Tail 100-year quest is done, I do believe that we will get to see another little mini time skip, but this one will be straight for pairings, and this one will be for romanticizing the series, because that's when they'll finally start giving birth to the next generation. And the first characters who have got a head start at that is Gagio and Levi. Yes, we know that Gagio, Gajio, listen, his pullout game, let's just say that is not at 100. But no, in all seriousness, Gajio, we know that he ended up getting Levy pregnant. So this just goes to show you that there is already going to be one new character for the next generation that's already been confirmed. So I definitely do think that this time skip will take place to give birth to the next kids. I don't think there's going to be as much fighting as this time skip, but it will be sort of like an area of peace. But I do believe that the final time skip in this series that we will see will have to revolve around Nashi drag Neil. Yes, Nashi drag Neil and the next generation of Fairy Tail, because at this point, Fairy Tail is confirmed to have a spinoff for multiple reasons. Number one, the Gajil and Levy situation. Like I said, they're already confirming that there's going to be more kids, but the author of Fairy Tail himself has confirmed the name for Natsu and Lucy's child. Yes, he's the one that said Nashi drag Neil. So that just goes to show you that he himself is already excited for the spinoff. And we also have been leaked to many different pictures of Nashi drag Neil that were written by Hiro Mashima, the author himself. So this just goes to show you that the author himself is pretty dang excited to write Nashi drag Neil the others. And I definitely do think that this will be the final time skip where Nashi and the others, her, Gray's daughter, you know, Levy and Gajil's child, they'll be teenagers, but they won't necessarily be, you know, adults. And I do think that Natsu and the others, they will be out of the picture by then. Maybe some of them will be guild masters, maybe some of them will be like really old, but I do think that that will be the final time skip for the series. So overall, are you guys excited for the new Fairy Tail time skip? Because Fairy Tail, contrary to popular belief, it is still going on pretty strong. Yes, I'd say that we probably still got maybe 3 to 5 more years of Fairy Tail as a whole left. Yes, maybe on the ladder of 5 more years as a whole of the Fairy Tail story left. So there definitely will be new time skips, and let me know what you guys think about the time skip. I love seeing the comments in the comment section, and if we can get this video to 500 likes, that will be a huge milestone for the Fairy Tail gang. But that's basically it for this little video discussing the new time skip. Comment what you guys see down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.